Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we got a new partner on the show, everybody, and it's one I'm really excited about. I became really good friends with the owner of this company, Dave, over the past few years here, and the other owner, Shane. He's also a great guy. The reason that I have joined this particular company or let them come in and start advertising to you all is because I really do trust in their product. I also trust in the character of the company. They're really good Christian guys, and I feel real comfortable now promoting this product, especially now of the third season of using their product, and that's Razor Broadheads. They're a Michigan-based company. All their products are made here in the USA. Their broadheads are made out of, I believe it's A2 steel and with a titanium ferrule. So one thing that I have noticed about the Razor heads, I've used a lot of single bevel broadheads, and Razor broadheads are single bevel chisel tip broadheads, is I've oftentimes in the past, I've had problems with blood trails when it comes to single bevel, these tiny little broadheads. And Razor broadheads have been the actually opposite. Like I've had blood trails with these things that could rival, a big expandable sometimes. In particularly, a couple years ago, I shot a really nice 9-pointer with a longbow with their 200 grain broadhead. And the reason that I think we get such a good blood trail with these broadheads is their cutting diameter. I think they're just over 1 3/8 inches and just under 1.5 inches. So they're a super wide broadhead, considering all other things being equal, with other types of fixed blade broadheads. But what's unique about them is I've never had problems with them flying well. They're super well thought out. They have the chisel tip on the end that is ground perfectly to where it's balanced perfectly. And even in the ferrule, they have it is a replaceable blade ferrule, but they have 2 screws that hold the ferrule, the blade to the ferrule, and those screws are even like strategically placed in one head is on this side and one head is on the other side to keep this broadhead nice and balanced. So I think that's one reason that they fly really well, is because Dave and Shane really thought out this broadhead and made sure it was going to be something that would perform out of a high-speed compound or a trad bow. This particular head is the 200 grain head. This is my favorite head. I've killed a couple deer with this head. I killed a 9-pointer with my longbow about I think 3 years ago, and the blood trail was just unbelievable with this thing. Now I made a good shot on him, double lunged him, but it still was just impressive how easy it was to track the deer with that particular head. That same year, I shot a buck in Ohio with this head. This is the 150 grain head. It's a little bit of a narrower head, but nonetheless, what happened with that buck is I made a bad shot on him. I hit him in the high shoulder. And a lot of broadheads there, it would hit that shoulder, kind of bounced out or just barely stuck in, and I probably wouldn't have found that deer. This thing here got in there far enough that it did a number on that deer actually, and the deer piled up 60 yards from where I ended up shooting him. I'm pretty confident if I would have been shooting an expandable or some other type of broadhead, that deer probably would have been running around to this day. So I'm super thankful I had that broadhead on my arrow, at the end of my arrow for that buck. Now the other day, I used this 125 grain head. Now, like I told you guys, I've been testing all these different broadheads for the past 3 years, trying to figure out, if it's something I wanted to continue to work with Dave and those guys at Razor. But I shot a little button buck with this 125 head the other day with my compound. This is called their Missile. It's a real small little head, but man, this thing flies like a field tip. I cannot tell you how good this thing flies. It is the same size as their 150 grain head. Pretty close. I think it's very, very close. But it has vents in it, as you can see here. I talked to David about the vents because there is concern with the vents about them being noisy. And in their testing, there wasn't much difference in sound compared to the small vented head to the 150 head. So if you're a compound guy and you don't like a heavy arrow, which some people don't, this is a great option. Heavy arrow, super small, sharp head that's going to buzz through about anything. Again, you'd think with this little bitty head, I was super concerned about there being a lack of blood. And just wasn't the case, guys. Like, I had so much blood when it came to that little button buck I shot. I mean, you could just follow the blood right to the deer. You know, as they say, you know, Stevie Wonder could have followed the blood trail. So the options they have the 125s in right bevel. They have the 150s also in right bevel. I believe maybe the 150s are left bevel as well. And then in the 150 and the 200, they have these blackout broadheads, which are pretty cool. You can get them in the typical stainless steel look, or you can get them in the blackout look. That looks pretty sharp. 250, the 200s they have in right or left bevel, and they have those in the blackout as well. This is the broadhead I would recommend trying if you were going to get some razors, especially if you're a trad bow guy. They have a 250 head, which I do not have. I don't have any 250 heads. And then they got the big mamma jamma, the 300 grain head. I haven't shot a deer with this thing. This is the only broadhead that they have that I haven't shot a deer with. And yeah, but I did test that on my longbow, and it does fly very, very well. And is just I mean, that thing looks like you'd slice a deer in half with it. So if you need something super heavy, there's your 200 grain head. Like I said before, we are 100% made here in the USA. It's a company out of Michigan. Now, before you get all butthurt about this, these things are expensive. I believe they're just south of $100 for 3 of them. Now, this ain't no Chinese junk. These are made here in Michigan in America, and they're designed and produced by Dave and Shane, and you know, their hands are touching each one of these broadheads that you get, and they're American workers, and their time is worth a lot. And if you're too broke to buy these things, then, well, just use my code. The code's BTE. I think I'll put it right here. And it saves you 20%. I'm just joking. Even if you're filthy rich, go ahead and use that code. Save you 20%. But they are quality broadheads, and you are going to pay for American quality stuff. And if you want American quality stuff, this is your company to support. So I'm excited to have these guys on board, and I'm excited for you guys to try them out. And let me know if you use Razor broadheads. Leave it in the description. I know a bunch of you all do. So leave them in the description. Let us know how you like them and what your experience has been with them. So, and then before you leave, hit the subscribe button right there. And then you can watch a hunting video right there. Thanks, everybody.